Hey, if you're tired of locked content or, that sort of thing where you know that somebody else gets access to it on the same streaming platform in a different country, but you don't.
Yeah.
Or maybe your favorite team is regionally blacked out for no reason.
No good reason.
What if you just use NordVPN, which also doubles as web security? It's amazing. NordVPN keeps your information safe and gets you access to the shows and the games that you want to watch when you want to watch them. What is it? Are you okay?
I'm just... Feels like we're somewhere different.
Well, if you're somewhere different, NordVPN can actually help you out if you're on bad Wi-Fi, that sort of thing. It kind of locks your information. So if you're feeling somewhere different.
That was incredible.
See what I'm saying? Grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/tangle to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan, plus 4 additional months on top. It is completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, your exclusive NordVPN deal plus 4 additional months at nordvpn.com/tangle.
SDPN, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
I was trying to write home on the whiteboard, but I didn't get enough time because I didn't think about it until
You're
2
an
seconds
idiot.
beforehand.
You're
I know.
a dumbass.
You conked out our TV.
What? What happened to our TV?
Did you kick out our TV?
What happened to our TV?
Did you kick the cable for the bottom monitor?
I might have. Did I?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it
no.
was.
That's okay.
That's all right.
get used to being back here. No, is it good now?
It's good now. Yeah.
Oh,
It'll figure itself.
Give me
out.
1 second.
How we doing, Maddie? How we doing?
No, one day I'll be back.
All
Let's
right.
get the show
Boom.
started.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
There we go.
Oh, like it's all my fault.
Also,
All right.
I can hear Maddie okay through my headphones, but I can't hear either of you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hear us?
Uh,
Can you hear
la,
us,
la,
Steve?
Steven.
Not really.
1,
Not
2, 3,
really.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Not really. There
All
you
good,
go.
Steven's
That's
going
way
ahead.
better.
Oh, you
There.
just wanted them louder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant you put it
It wasn't
here.
a tech problem.
I mean, we are right here. You can take your headphones off.
I don't want to do that.
Steve drinking out of his SJ Sharkey mug. Big shout out to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Lou Dort, Canadians 11 and 12 ever to win the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
That's crazy.
They did not beat Chris Boucher to it. Chris Boucher beat them. Okay, the Bouche from Montreal. But
Indeed.
I just thought you would find this funny as a Leaf fan, as an NHL fan, that you can both win a championship and have a ton of draft capital.
Isn't that nuts?
Because the youngest team in the NBA is OKC, and they won. And they won in Game 7.
All you have to do is have Kawhi destroy a franchise.
And he sure did.
I bless him. I wish he was still here. I wish he stayed in 2020. I think they would have at least made the
They
final.
would have won again. They would have won.
Holy Santa Claus balls. Did the Clippers make the wrong choice?
As of right now, the Thunder still have 2 firsts and 1 second this year for the draft. They have 2 firsts and 1 second next year. They have 2 firsts and 2 seconds in 27. In 28, they have a first and 3 seconds. And in 29, they have a first and 5 seconds.
The Clippers are so the Clippers.
They're very Clippers.
They're just the very Clippers.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most Clippers.
It's it's crazy. It's crazy. But it's an amazing day for Canada, and he's the first guy to win.
And therefore the world.
He won the MVP, he won the playoff MVP, and he wins the championship. I think that's pretty amazing.
Fourth
He's not
player
the
to
first
ever.
guy to do that.
Oh, no. First Canadian is what I meant to say. Yeah. Sorry, I was making this Canadian thing. Yeah, sorry.
Fourth guy.
Fourth guy to do it.
I believe it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaq, Michael Jordan.
Jesse, you
And
tell me.
Shai.
You got it's the scoring title as well. Fourth guy to do it with the scoring title.
That's crazy.
Wow.
There's been, I think, 12 or 14 guys who did the Triple Crown, but not with the scoring title as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Felt
Damn.
bad for Halliburton. Felt bad for Pascal.
Yeah.
He's playing really well, but it is what it is.
I think the good guys won. The good guys won. I was all the way OKC on that one. I like that it was a
Good
great final.
guys?
Yeah, they're the good guys. To me.
How are they the good guys?
They're the good guys. They're the youngest ones. They're the smartest team. They should win.
Yeah,
They
but
get
it
the best
implies
GM.
the Pacers are the bad guys, which they have never been.
No, they never have.
It was Cinderella run.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And I felt bad. I saw that shot of Tyrese Halliburton's dad in the crowd after he was
Yeah.
pulled out. Oh, That was gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
That sucks. Now, to start the show, Mason Lohrei has signed an extension, but we're not going to lead with that because it's Mason Lohrei, no disrespect, but that's a little bit later on the news calendar. What I do think is we should talk a little bit about how the Panthers somehow kept the party going. Don't worry, we'll get to this week's schedule in a little bit here, guys.
You got it.
But just so you know, while you were doing stuff this weekend, the Panthers were making cool sandcastles, and they had their big parade. And in case you're wondering, and I'm just sending this all to Jesse, I am not going to make fun of the Panthers side of the parade because I encourage more hockey fans and new hockey fans, and I think it's a good thing that hockey is finally working in that area of the world, because for most of their existence, it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers are doing their best to be like, isn't this fun? Isn't this the greatest? Come be part of this. It's the greatest.
Yeah.
So they're doing their job.
Yeah.
I have no problem with what they're doing now. They haven't hospitalized
I know there was a
anyone.
bunch of salty people, especially Canadian people, who were like, well, 400,000 people at a parade, that's nothing. And it isn't in comparison to some of the parades we've seen. But like, I don't know, man. This is a team that's already won it. They're winning it again.
I mean,
and they're having the best time doing it. And I think people are looking at that and going, man, I should have been a part of that party. So inevitably next year when they win it again, I'm sure there'll be more people.
it's tragic levels of cope.
Yes. Thank you for saying it.
Come on.
There's also like a lot of people.
Every
what
damn
is the
year.
problem?
Every single year the cup is awarded, I watch it, and like I'm not
Man, that
I
looks
will
like
not
no
lie.
fun.
I am not fully happy for you.
You know how many
For
people are at
every
the
team.
Cup parade in Toronto? 0.
Yeah.
We don't have a parade.
Yeah.
Every single year. This isn't just a Panthers thing. I'm not 100% happy for you. I'm mostly happy for you, but I'm a little bit sad for myself. And I reserve the right to be selfish in that regard.
Yeah, but you don't need to denigrate someone else's parade for it, do you?
No. I'm not doing that. I've been to bigger weddings, but I'm not doing that.
Oh, shut up.
It's because I'm Italian.
Stop.
That's why. No. Dude, I wish badly I was one of those people.
Of course you do.
Cheering on my team at their cup parade, and I'm not.
And by the way, theirs is next to the ocean. I think that's what I think is so cool. It's like, oh, I'm going to go to the parade, I'm going to have a few beers, and then I'm going to go sit at the ocean with my friends.
It
Like,
sounds
you just-
pretty
awesome.
nice.
You don't have to jump on the shitty TTC or whatever else you needed to do. Jesse, you were at the Raptors parade.
Yes.
How did you, like, it was not easy to get in and get out.
No.
Right?
No, it was an awful experience.
Yeah.
There was the shooting.
That's right.
That too.
Yeah.
No.
It was an awful experience before that.
Yes, it's too many people.
There was a lady trying to get through the crowd, like on Front Street, and she goes, "I'm trying to catch my train," and everyone just burst out laughing. Burst out, like I don't know. Maybe look at the news.
Jesse, can you pull up
It's on
the
every
fantasy
night.
football picture here? Because I feel like here at SDPN, we've got a very competitive fantasy football league. There's a lot of pride on the line. Like we could have done. I don't think fantasy hockey would bring out the knives the way it does in our fantasy football league. We don't do punishments though, and I feel like we need to start instituting them because this one was a really good one at the parade.
Oh, no.
I suck at fantasy football. Last place 2024. He's wearing an Oilers jersey. It's McDavid, and he's a Panthers fan. That's a good punishment.
And he's got to wear a jersey to a parade in Florida.
Looks so hot.
He looks
man.
so damn hot. Not a compliment.
It is Florida up here, actually, in Toronto, too. It's about, 30, 35 degrees.
It's
Like,
actually despicable
it's crazy.
outside, yeah.
Yeah, and
When
I
you're
can't
not used
imagine
to it.
wearing a jersey like that. Although people from hot places are used to the heat. Like I see people, you see people in Florida all the time, and they're like wearing a suit. Like you're out of your mind.
Oh, I know.
How do you do that?
It's both ends of the spectrum. We were just like all parked up in Saskatoon in the middle of the winter, and there's like people jogging by in like their Lululemon or Aloe yoga wear.
Dick and balls, yeah.
Dick and balls yoga wear, just trying to stay in shape. Morning. And they're fine. They're used to it.
Yeah.
So we're temperate losers.
We are. Now I want to while the rest of us lick our wounds, I wanted to bring up this quote, and I swear to you, we're going to get to the schedule for the week. But this quote just rocks, and I feel like it's a really good segment. So Greg Wyshynski pulled together a lot of the ESPN reporters and put together a story and kind of the buzzy rumors from this morning. One of the things that really stuck out to me, like Kristen Shilton goes in on the Leafs. We're going to talk about them in a little bit on like they need to get Tavares done. But
or anyone.
I'm going to read this direct from Greg's article.
Okay.
Stuart Skinner, 861 save percentage, 397 goals against average, was pulled twice and eventually benched for Calvin Pickard, 878 and 2.88.
He was at 861?
Yeah.
In the whole playoffs?
I'm assuming I can look that up, but that's what I'm just reading from the article.
Regardless, that is ass.
Hey, whether it's the finals or it's the playoffs. It's
Whenever
bad.
it was, ass.
Before returning to give up 3 goals on 23 shots in their Game 6 elimination game. Both goalies were below replacement level in goals saved above expected over their last 5 playoff games. Meanwhile, Panthers goalie Bobrovsky chugged along at a 3.1 goal saved above expected in his last 5 games. And did what he needed to do, 919 save percentage, 245 goals against average in the final. This confused Oilers general manager Stan Bowman because he argued that Edmonton had the stronger goaltending in each of its 3 previous series in the Western Conference. He said Darcy Kemper, Aiden Hill, and Jake Ottinger, our goalies were better than each of those in these series. I think that's the reason we went to the Stanley Cup final. And then in the final, it flipped. So he said it's not like you go down to the corner store and pick up an elite goalie. They're not just waiting for you to join your team. So how many are there anyways in that group? So if you look at the elite guys, some of them have had tough playoffs. So there's no guarantee in the goaltending world. It's the most important position, but it's also in some instances not why teams win. So if you have a strong enough team, then there's been teams that win the cup without elite goaltending. And there's been teams that have won because of their goalie.
I don't want to be hyperbolic. He should be fired immediately.
Yeah, dude.
You can't. No. Yeah, goaltending's what got us through the playoffs. I know we have 2 guys with 30-plus points, but goaltending is why we're in the Stanley. You fire him immediately. What do you? Shut up. Stanley. Honest to God? Are you serious?
I thought you might find that interesting.
Holy shit. You start typing up a resume. Actually, you know what? Do it from home. Get the fuck. We'll mail you your shit. Are you kidding? Stan, that's enough of that.
I think that's him defending his choice of words at the trade deadline when he said no when asked if they were going to get a goalie.
All right, bring them back. Bring both of them back. Stand on business.
I think
they got you to the Stanley Cup final. Bring both of them back. If he doesn't bring both of them back, he's a massive hypocrite and should be fired for that.
Jesse, what are your thoughts on the Stan Bowman quote?
It's a peculiar quote. I don't expect him to say anything different.
Okay.
Because the 2 guys he's defending are under contract for next season. It's not like he can go out and skewer these 2 individuals and say, you know what, they were ass and I hate them. It makes sense.
They were ass and I hate them. I think is a really good.
I think it makes sense that he's going this route publicly. I don't think they're going to enter next season with these 2 gentlemen as their goaltending tandem. I think that's unforgivable if they do it. I think his actions will speak louder than his words.
Okay.
I think his words are just words he has to say at this point in time.
Hope so.
Yeah, well, I hope so for the sake of Edmonton Oilers fans.
I got to ask, who was the last team to win without elite goaltending?
Aiden Hill, Vegas. I wouldn't say he was elite.
But he played very well.
Colorado wasn't that elite.
Played well, though. Both played well.
Played very well.
They're all going to play well.
Well,
they played Colorado a lot better than Skinner and Pickard.
Colorado was a lot of Francouz, too. People forget that. Like, Francouz pretty much... I want to say he played most of the series against Edmonton. Mm-hmm. That was the one thing, like, all of us were like, okay, Colorado probably beats the Oilers, but their backup is in net, and they might die. And then he ended up being really good. Turns out you can get past elite teams with elite offense with not an elite goalie.
If you look at the repeat teams, though, any teams that have repeated in the last 20 years, you get the Penguins, you get Detroit. Detroit didn't repeat, but they went to back-to-back finals. You've got...
Well, and Osgood is elite, depending on who you ask.
Yeah. I put him in elite. He's been in like 5 finals, man.
It's weird how controversial he is, but like he worked well in Detroit.
Yeah.
Steve, I want to pull up those numbers because I was like, you're so right on that. The 2022 run, Francouz played 6 games or 7. He got into 7 games. He was 6-0.
Dude, he was great. He was there. He was there, Pickard, ironically.
Kemper was 10-4 with a 9.02.
Yeah, and he suffered an eye injury.
I wouldn't call that elite goaltending. Like, it's not Vasilevsky.
But it's above 900.
It's good.
Totally.
It's adequate. Totally. That is bang on adequate.
And I think the bet was that Stuart Skinner could give you 900 goaltending.
When he hadn't all season.
and he didn't. So
Well, because he did it last year.
I guess like last year you have to bring back Skinner.
Yes.
You do. But now do we have enough of a sample size where we can say like maybe last year was the exception?
Yes, I think Stuart Skinner is a great 1B. He should have been the Pickard in this Pickard-Skinner situation, and you should have another guy ahead of Skinner. Skinner's the perfect secondary goalie.
This is why when I was spitballing with the Leafs, I don't think the Leafs are trading a goalie, nor should they. But if the Oilers are going to make a trade, I think Skinner's fine, just not for you. So if you're going to trade him to a team that has two really good goalies, one of which they're willing to part with, Skinner plus is a totally reasonable package for both parties.
Right.
I think.
If Skinner was on the Leafs, it would be another Samsonov situation.
Even
You just
Pickard
can't.
plus, but you probably prefer Skinner.
You can find
I'm
guys.
trying to hang on to Skinner,
Yeah.
if I'm standing.
Like if they go
He's
and get
pretty young.
Yeah, he's 26.
And what's his contract again? It's not that
it's
expensive.
$2 million.
Oh, it's great.
like 2.6 or something like that.
So trade one of the two and keep one of the two.
That's what I'm saying.
To
Or
make a
Barry,
trade
or
for him.
keep
Saying,
Pickard
Brooks.
and sign Jake Allen. Not that Jake Allen. Like, listen,
I
I
think
know he's
both
the
guys
best
are tradable.
goalie available right now.
Yeah, both guys are tradable.
But why wouldn't you keep him? Somebody's going to get injured. You can bury that contract.
Because you probably lose one on waivers.
Yeah. Somebody's
Maybe.
going to pick up Pickard who's making $1 million.
Pickard's getting claimed.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I would keep Calvin Pickard on the roster. $1 million is good for your third goalie if you have to go that route. They're in a position where they just need to get one more guy and they're good.
I guess all that to say,
They're paying
like,
Jack Campbell almost as much as Stuart Skinner per year.
Oh,
That's
no!
nuts.
Oh
I didn't
my
even
god,
notice that. Wow.
That's crazy. Or at least this year they will
Oh
be.
shit!
Yeah.
Wow.
Next year it'll be the same.
Next year will be exactly the same.
Yeah, but he's a UFA,
Yeah.
so Skinner on the
Wow,
That was a bad deal.
holy! I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
Goaltending, man.
Brutal situation. So I guess the goaltending is a little different because you got to add the Campbell money for what you're paying for goalies. You think about it that way?
You don't though.
Okay, good.
You that's just breakage,
Right.
right? So I guess after dunking on Bowman, like there is a path forward here. I think there's an obvious path forward. I don't think the Oilers are doomed. The most
Certainly
difficult.
not. It's just a question of are they willing to make that call? Because it sounds like he doesn't want to.
You also need a team with a really good goalie who is willing to part with that really good goalie.
And which is why I keep asking why Anaheim would move on from John Gibson. You finally have a
Can
team.
the Oilers even afford him?
Yeah, it's a little too much.
He makes
They
6
keep
and a
it- well,
quarter.
even in the article, they bring up John Gibson, and I'm like, guys, and I saw this weekend that somebody reported that Gibson would be willing to accept a trade to the Oilers. I'm like, why would you? I know Dostal's the guy, but like, if you're Anaheim, why would you do that?
Yeah, but if your tandem then is Dostal Skinner,
I don't hate it.
it could be worse. But they're both like 26 and under.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad tandem for a young team.
I don't think Dostal's on the market.
No.
No.
I'm saying for the Ducks.
The Ducks acquire Skinner,
Yeah, in a Gibson trade.
and so the Oilers are running Gibson.
Pickard.
Yeah.
Is that better?
I think
Yes.
Gibson, Gibson had a
Oh,
great,
yeah.
yes, Gibson
Oh,
had a
yeah.
really good year.
I don't know. I don't know
think
at that
he had a
price.
renaissance year. Like he was really good.
I don't know at that price. $6
the-
million. $6 million for what is it? 2 more seasons.
What if you're able to dump Arvidsson's contract as well in the deal?
That's better.
See, we're cooking here.
Right.
Like we're trying to solve. We're trying to problem solve. That we can figure something out.
6.4 for this season and next year's.
Oh, it's
John
even
Gibson.
more than I thought
Yeah.
for this season and next.
Yeah.
For years on the show, we've been talking about trading Gibson, and we're like, dude, there's like 5 years left on that deal. Now we're all the way down to 2,
And the cap's exploding.
and he's playing
What do you
well.
care about a 31-year-old making $6.4 million who gives you what, a 910 or a 915 save percentage? That's
For
a great
God's sake,
deal.
if he gives you a 905,
Yo, that's why I don't trade him. If you're the Ducks, you don't trade him. That's your strength. You got $30 million in cap. You've got good, strong defense. You got young players. You brought Chris Kreider in. Zegras is on the market. We'll talk about that later. Why would you move on from Gibson? Every night of the year that one of those two guys is in, you got a good chance to win. I don't understand why you would do that.
Here's what I would say. Like, if you're able to get a decent goalie, not as good as Gibson, but decent, in a Gibson trade, you do it. When are the Ducks gonna, like, okay, they might make the playoffs this upcoming year.
I think they're going to.
I think they're gonna challenge, right? But when you're gonna make a real push, I think is right around when his contract ends. If you make peace with losing him for nothing, Fine. Why not get something
Or
for him?
re-sign him.
You guys have a lot more
re-sign
confidence in John Gibson than I do.
I think he was really...
He had like 5 consecutive mediocre seasons, and last season he didn't really play. Like, he played a backup amount of games, and he had a good save percentage.
So I'm here going, was 2024 the exception to the rule for Skinner?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm looking at one good season of John Gibson, and I'm like, he's back.
Well, hold on a sec, though. I'm a big fan of what the Ducks are doing, so I've dove on this a little bit. Remember we got Simon Benoit and the famous Dom Decision tweet, he's statistically the worst defenseman in the NHL.
Yeah.
And he's not the best defenseman in the NHL, but he's a player.
No, he was playing like top 4, top pair minutes with Klingberg.
And look what Cam Fowler has done, moving on from the Ducks to St. Louis.
Yeah.
I think the Ducks were just bad. And if you look at how bad Gibson they've been bad for like half a decade. 904, 903, 904, and then the last 2 years before this one, 899, and then 888. Whoa, that's pretty bad. And then he did play 30 games this year, or 29, 912 save percentage.
The other thing with the Ducks that is like difficult to talk about and no one's really talking about is,
I think the Ducks were just friggin' bad, is my point.
well, they were friggin' bad, but also like Joel Quenneville, we can talk about whether or not he should be back in the NHL, but like he is, and I expect them to be a better coached team next year because Greg Cronin is not a great NHL head coach, and Joel Quenneville is like one of the most accomplished head coaches of all time. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's kind of fucked up too, but as long as he's their head coach, can we talk about it? Like, they're
going to be well coached.
They're going to be way better. They're going to be way better.
And I would argue that the Blackhawks team that won with Antti Niemi in 2010 was a testament to how well coached and great team defense they played.
That's probably the last one.
That was like truly like not a starter.
Like, yeah, Kemper was at least a starter. Hill was at least a starter.
Holtby was the Holt Beast.
Holtby played like a maniac.
He was crazy.
Yeah. But he didn't start as the starter.
That's right.
Who started the playoffs?
Was it? It was not Sammy, was it?
Grubauer.
Philip
Grubauer.
That's crazy.
Started as the starter. Yeah, well, and like Brizgalov started when, the Ducks won in 2007 or whatever. It usually comes out in the wash, though, that a team has at least very adequate goalie.
Yes.
By the time everything is all said and done. And Niemi's probably the last one.
I just feel like, I don't know. If I'm the Ducks, I got $30 million in cap space. I can solve all my problems without making a trade to make Edmonton better. Why would I help Edmonton?
You have $30 million in cap space.
I might be playing them in the first round if I'm a wild card team.
You have $30 million in cap space and no actual expectations to win. I don't think you have problems.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to be a Ducks fan.
You don't have problems.
Yeah. You know what? Their biggest problem is probably their jersey.
That's a problem.
That's a huge
honest
problem.
To God, at this point, just pick one. Just pick one.
No, they did. They picked the bad one, though.
No, leave it. Leave it until it grows on us. You made your bet. Stop. You have a fundamentally different jersey every single year. That's enough. Quit picking at it. You're orange now. You're orange.
I respect the fact.
Forever you're orange.
At very least, that they went a different color than blue, black, or red.
Yes,
so
fine.
I do respect that.
Whatever, kind of, I can see it from space. Leave it, you're orange.
I'm curious to hear, guys, what Oilers fans think of this. I am, because I know that there are some of them.
Hey, we're supposed to be the orange team. And they abandoned that.
Some of them are annoyed, and some of them really and truly kind of believe in what Skinner and Pickard give you. Do you think, just to wrap this segment up, do you think that the Oilers should make that a priority? And if so, is it number 1, 2, or 3? Or is there other things as general managers, if it were you, if you're armchairing this one, that you do something else first?
I mean, you give Edmonton an elite goalie, or a good goalie who plays elite. Real solid chance of winning the cup, man. Like, they're not winning a ton of playoff games by accident. Like, if you go through recent years, you brought up Holtby. The Capitals were not the best team in the Eastern Conference final, let alone when they got to the Stanley Cup final. You need a goalie to steal you games and sometimes even a series. And that's just not happening for the Edmonton Oilers with what they got.
Jesse, what do you think?
Yeah, I think goaltending is the number one issue in Edmonton, and they got to go get somebody that is going to be the 1A in there. Like, it could be Jake Allen. Like, Jake Allen's, I think, a really good option for them. I don't know what the cost would be, but
He's the best goalie available, they're saying.
So if he's the best goalie available, maybe that runs up the price. But like the trade market's probably where you go, and you're probably looking to dump some salary out and try and get a good goaltender.
Jake Allen has had such a confusing career. Like, man, this guy's great. He's the new hope for the league. Oh, he's actually kind of disappointing. Wait, no, he's unplayable. He's one of the worst regular goalies in the league. He's elite again.
Yeah.
Like, people forget the reason the Blues won the cup. Yeah, Jordan Binnington. Okay, who did he take over from?
Mm-hmm.
It was Allen.
And they were last place.
Stunk. It was brutal.
And then he went to, was it Jersey and found his game? And then
no, he went to Montreal and
found his game.
couldn't be beat. Like, it was so weird. And I feel like he's been okay in Jersey. I don't know his numbers, but
No, he was good. He was good,
well,
Jersey.
there you go.
Yeah.
But like, no, he was brutal, man.
Yeah. It's crazy.
He was brutal. They called up Binnington because they're like, anyone. Oh, he won. Oh, he won again. Oh, okay, let's give him a run. And they basically didn't lose for like, I don't know, 4 months.
Now that we've got that Edmonton Oilers thing out of the way, I did want to kind of mention what's on tap for this week. So our shows are going to be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday for our normal podcast.
Mm-hmm.
CJ and Julian are going to do their normal Monday. They've already got a show out, and Thursday. And then on Friday, we have our draft stream. So as you guys know, the first round of the NHL draft is exactly 85 hours long. We'll be doing a live stream throughout the entire first round.
Do you know how long our draft stream last year was?
Was not 4 hours?
It was 4 hours and 6 minutes.
Yeah, so
I believe
we may die of dehydration. You'll get to see it live, which I think is really a benefit.
Yeah, you guys want to see a dead body?
That's
You want to
literally
see
what it's
3?
gonna be. Yeah. So
4 hours and 3 minutes.
4 hours and 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We had a good time.
Look at you without a beard, Steve. It looks different.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, we need to have a discussion.
What?
You look like a baby.
Yeah, we got to have a discussion about this thing because I've been getting chirped by family members, young and old.
The beard?
Yeah.
What about it?
Okay, so my son, yesterday, we were at the Blue Jays game. He goes, Dad, why do you have a beard now? And I go, I don't know. I'm just, oh my God.
Look at him.
Yeah, no, I'm not shaving. I look like a slug.
What?
No, dude, okay.
I think you look fine.
Yeah, I don't think
I think I have a jaw now.
I think the majority of people told you to shave it when you took the poll on the stream.
No, that's not true. 55% said keep it. So Leo goes, Daddy, why do you have a beard? I go, I'm just trying it. He goes, I don't like it. It's scratchy. I go, yeah, but do you think it looks good? He goes, no, shave it.
Wow.
And my parents yesterday, because we got together for Leo's 5th birthday. He's already 5. Yes, we're all getting old. Time's passing fast. We're all going to die. And my dad goes, so like you're doing this, eh? Like you're doing the beard? I go, and he grew a beard when I was young and shaved it one day, and I literally couldn't look at him. I was terrified of him. I was pretty young. I was like 8 or 9.
Okay.
And he looked once he shaved it, he looked weird. He had it for like 6 months.
It's like when you see James Harden without a beard.
Weird. Right?
Really
and no
weird.
one agrees that he should shave it.
No.
With his weak chin, and now look at me, right? So and he goes, no, I think it's fine as long as you understand you look older. And I go, what does that mean? He goes, well, it makes you look older. I didn't say it made you look old. And they like backpedaling. You can hear the
yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't.
Squeaky gears.
I said the same thing. I said in the thing, you looked a couple years younger.
I wish I. Oh my God, no! There's. I was honest to goodness. I almost shaved it this morning. Look at that guy.
Or Steve or Jesse.
I'm not going back.
Jesse, let's have a look at Steve. Did you wax your chest? Where's your hair?
Maybe it's just the lighting.
Where's your chest hair, man?
No. Like I don't think his chest hair goes up to his neck.
Mine does.
Yeah.
Mine does. I was like, wow, Steve, you got a lot of buttons open there. You being a little slutty for us? Or?
Wow.
Look at you.
Wow.
You showing some skin?
I think no. Okay, honestly, I almost shaved this morning. No, this is what I look like from now on. Looking at that picture, that's what I look like from now on. No way. I'm not going back to that.
I think your face is fine.
So to recap, your face is fine. That's you being hard on your face.
There's so much face.
I do want to say,
why am I so pale? This was from June. Anyway,
Well, because you hadn't been outside, man.
yeah, I guess.
Okay, so Monday, Wednesday, Thursday for shows out on the SDP this
You're
week.
pale right now.
Draft stream Friday night.
All right. All
Like,
right.
what? Pull him up. No, the actual Steve in real life right now.
I'm not nearly as pale.
That's a pretty pale man.
more color.
I'm
There's
pale,
more
but I'm
color.
not nearly as pale. Maybe it's just the lighting.
I like this angle on Steve. It's a little different now that we're back. Ooh, it's straight on. He's looking into your soul.
Pretty pale.
Draft night, Friday night, 85-hour long live stream, just so you know. And then, of course, free agency, as we always do, when the news hits, we do a quick video, pop it out online, and then we will do a live stream later that night on Canada Day, recapping the day, as we always do. So
And
let
I'll
everybody
be
know.
making content for day 2 of the draft as well, even though we're not doing a
There you go.
stream.
Let's get into the BetMGM big story, shall we?
Ooh.
All right, so BetMGM big story, and we got the draft at the end of the week, so obviously we got to look at that. I mean, there are way too early Stanley Cup predictions out there already. Somehow the Oilers are rated higher than the Panthers. We can talk about that at some other point. Yes, I don't get it either.
Okay.
Maybe it's because the Panthers have been partying for the week, and the Oilers have probably got back on the
Well,
ice.
the Cup final's not tomorrow.
But
They've been doing that. They did that all playoffs. They did that at the beginning of last season. The Oilers, they always pump their odds right up to the top.
A billionaire comes out and he says, all right, game 8 and 9 of the Cup finals or whatever are tomorrow for the Stanley Cup. Who wins?
I'm going to tell you something about that. They got to get to 7.
they didn't even
Oh,
get to
damn.
that. Oh,
You said 8
damn.
and 9. Like the Oilers got to make it to 7, which they didn't do this year.
Yeah, 8 and 9 were game 1 and 2 this year.
I'm taking the hungover Panther.
Yeah, I'm picking the Panthers.
So Jesse, what do we got in terms of draft things? Like, what can we look at here?
So it might be fun if we select who's going to go 3rd, 4th, and 5th overall, because those are bets that are on the board right now on BetMGM. So the favorite to go 3rd overall is Mr. Anton Frondel.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the betting favorite. Are you taking him? Or are you taking one of the other players off the board?
Misa is interesting, but I expect him to
He's
be-
going second.
Yeah, that's what's confusing for me. This is a difficult draft. Give me Hagens. Give me Hagens.
Hagen's
third.
in 3. No, he's not going until 7 or 8. You don't think?
So
Nah,
Higgins
every
right
year there's
now-
a weird one.
Yeah.
Higgins is 12-1 to go 3rd overall. You think he
Whoa.
I don't want to take the favorite. That's boring.
All right.
I'm taking
I
Higgins.
would have gone more tone.
Yeah, so I will say in some of the
7-1 odds. Why not?
in some of the mock drafts I've seen, Martone is like barely even going in the top 10.
That's insane.
That makes no sense to me.
Whoever gets him at 10 is insane. That'd be crazy.
So I'll say Hagens.
Okay.
I'll take the favorite. I'll take Anton Frondel goes 3rd overall.
By the way,
Seems like a good pick.
Roger McQueen, what a perfect name. You can now be Lightning McQueen the rest of your life. How amazing is that?
Who goes 4th overall? So BetMGM thinks this is going to be a lot closer and it's a tougher decision. We got Brady, Caleb, Anton, Porter, and James. Top 5.
Who's
and on.
drafting 4th again? I just got to remember NHL draft order.
That's actually a very good point.
Draft order.
Give me the top 5.
2025. I can. Okay, so the first round is set, and it is Islanders first, Sharks second. I think so. So we think Schaefer to the Islanders. We think Misa to the Sharks. I said Porter Martone to the Blackhawks. Then you got Mammoth and Preds 4 and 5.
Mammoth, the 4.
And I wouldn't
Preds,
be
5.
shocked if I don't know anything about this, but you know, people are talking about how Nashville believes they're good. They went out and got Eric Holla. They got older and wingier. What if they're one of those teams? Because the Rangers and the Islanders are both trying to trade into the top 10 because the Islanders want a second pick so they can get Hagens. I wonder if the Predators are one of those teams that goes, we'll trade this.
That'd be so
So
weird.
if you are going along those lines and you select James Higgins 11-1 to go 4th overall, or I guess 5th maybe because you think the Preds are going to trade the 5th pick.
I think they might. Yeah, Utah's
So-
not going to.
So the 5th pick, Higgins, is actually the favorite to go 5th.
I'm going to be boring and take Brady Martin 4th.
To go 4th.
Yeah, I think that's
Brady
a good
Martin.
one. I'll go Caleb Denoyers just to be different.
What the frig did you just call him?
Denoyers. I did it on purpose.
I'm going to beat you up.
What is it?
Denoyer.
Denoyer.
There you go.
But it's Denoyers to me.
Denoyer. Either of mine were closer.
Michael Misa to fall to the 4th overall
Can
pick.
you 51-1?
51
shot.
times your money.
I will say the top 4 is messy enough that like you could sprinkle on that, I think. But
Guys, can you imagine?
there's no way.
Imagine we had a Shane Wright type draft Like, remember when he fell to 4?
Well, he'd be the Shane Wright pick
That's what I mean.
to me. Yeah, there's no way.
I'm such a Misa fan.
I've been a huge Misa
All right,
fan all season.
What do we think?
Fifth?
Fifth
overall.
5th. I'll go Brady Martin because I haven't had him yet.
There's something about wearing a C on his crest, C on his chest. Sorry, Porter Martone. Give me Porter Martone. 5th.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Jesse, you have a
I'll take
thought?
Higgins.
Higgins? Okay. And then I've got the
I was like,
4, 5.
I already have Higgins.
Now, just so you know,
already
the
have.
Flyers are at 6, the Bruins at 7. The Bruins may trade that. The Islanders apparently are very interested in that pick so they can get Higgins. The Flyers, I don't see them moving on from that. The Kraken, I think at 8 will hold. There's Buffalo, who just got totally screwed. 9th pick, and then the Ducks at 10. And I feel like those guys are all going to hold. Although, you have to think, if the Buffalo Sabres can get people under contract who play good hockey, they might need to trade that.
How are they
pick.
going to do that?
What, get people under contract who
Yeah.
play good hockey? Trade the 9th overall pick?
I need evidence that. No,
Okay.
No.
All right. Okay, don't do it then.
they're not getting. I need evidence that they're going to
Fine.
get better ever if I'm
They're
going to say something.
they're going to draft
like
Jeff, who's a 30-year season ticket holder, or they're going
Like-
to just have him try out and play because
That's
we don't
what
have
I'm
enough warm
saying.
bodies here.
that. Some guy who's like ranked 63rd is going to go 9th overall.
So that's the BetMGM big story for now, and obviously we're going to be watching those odds all week long. Go to betmgm.com/dangle for terms and conditions.
Adam, I'm losing my mind. I'm very upset because I know there's been something.
Yes.
There's breaking news, and I know it's not breaking to our audience.
No,
I don't care.
They found out about it, 8 hours ago?
I don't know. It's breaking to me, though, and I'm so excited, and I want to know what it is.
Anytime that you can swap 30-point guys, you got to do it.
You have to.
What's the swap?
Zegras, Trevor Zegras is a Philadelphia Flyer.
No way.
Ryan Paling is a Anaheim Duck, along with the 45th overall pick, a second rounder, and a 4th round pick next year. Trevor Zegras, 57 games, 32 points. Ryan Paling, 68 games, 31 points.
Zegras joining Drysdale in Philly that's got to be the best day of both of their lives.
Well, I have to say, this deal doesn't happen if John Tortorella is there.
Absolutely not. Yo, Zegras being on the Flyers the season after Tortorella gets fired is very funny.
But under Tocchet, it makes a ton of sense.
Well, I'm just remembering when Torts, like before he was even Flyers coach, was dumping on Zegras on TV, and now Torts gets fired and Zegras is on the Flyers.
Yeah.
A little bit of a higher profile market. He joins his best friend. Dude, this is great news for Trevor Zegras. What was the package? Paling?
Second round pick this year, 45th overall, and then a 4th next year. And what's interesting about this one, too,
Boy,
is
that's
listen,
pretty good for the Ducks, too.
Zegras was on the cover of an NHL game.
Like 2 years ago.
And 61 and 65 points in 21-22 and then 22-23. And then last year, injuries, and also 2 years ago, injuries and Greg Cronin, 31 games, 15 points. And last year, 32 points, 57 games. And I guess, the thing about him, the knock against him, is that the guy doesn't like to play defense. He doesn't like to get back. He doesn't want to play a team game. That's been Now, I take that with a grain of salt because Greg Cronin was the head coach. What I don't understand from Anaheim's perspective here is why they needed to do this now. Why do this now?
Do you think Joel Quenneville got in there and was like, I'm not a fan of this player?
I think so. Because he was, remember,
I'm just guessing.
when
Zegras
Zegras was posting about Chris Kreider and how excited he was that he was going to be on the same team as him, literally
really?
like a week ago when Kreider.
Hockey USA.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Listen,
I mean, he probably shouldn't have. He knew he was going to get traded. Come on.
the Zegras trade rumors long predate Joel Quenneville.
Who's been traded more, John Gibson or Trevor Zegras?
Gibson has been traded 400 times.
But I'm asking if that pushed it over the hump.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jesse.
It is definitely possible. My immediate thought was actually Paling and the Ducks is actually kind of a good match.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's really going to excel there, and he's kind of along the lines. Look, the Flyers need any skill anywhere ever.
Mm-hmm.
They need it bad.
This is the exact player they need.
The Flyers?
Yeah.
I mean, to have Michkov and Zegras, I mean, listen, I don't know if they're going to be a great hockey team. I really don't. But I think they're going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah.
which is also kind of part of it, right?
And you're
It's important.
hoping that the skills that Zegras has shown develop into some sort of scoring touch.
Yeah.
And
And-
it hasn't
or
so
get it
far.
back, get it
And
back.
That's the bet you're betting on. Well, I wouldn't say like he's ever really had it. Like there's no 40 goal season out of Zegras.
No,
You're hoping
23 is
that,
the max.
Like that invents somewhere. Yeah, 23 goals. I don't think we can ever say get back when that hasn't existed.
His most, people talk about the fact that he scored Michigan's. His most impressive Michigan was an assist,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But like Paling's a dog, and I think that'll be like he's developed into.
Some people
he's one of those players who you had to adjust your expectations on. He was a first round pick.
Yep. Some people are calling
scored
it an
4 goals.
underwhelming return because the guy, Brian Paling, is a guy that only has ever topped out at 12 goals in a season, and that was last year.
Yeah. But I still think he's developed into like a pretty solid depth guy. Maybe not depth, like third liner with aspirations of being a second liner.
I'd also say that
I don't hate that for them at all. I really don't.
I think the Zegras relationship with Anaheim, like the thing about trading guys like a young guy like that is you got to try not to tank their value first. And Anaheim were so bad, and the relationship wasn't great between Zegras and Cronin, and that was pretty much, and literally like, Anaheim unfortunately doesn't get a lot of national coverage. As I told you, follow guys like Zach Kavanaugh who do the team locally.
Brett.
Not Brett Kavanaugh, not Brett.
We've done
You
this
made me
dance.
think about that. I was like,
We've done this
did I get it
dance.
wrong?
Yeah.
You know how I am with names. But I think that relationship was at a point, and his like, I think there was a point at which when Trevor Zegras was going to be a Montreal Canadian, that the Montreal Canadiens would have given up more to get him. And I think Verbeek and the organization, I understand why they tried to make it work or whatever. I think that unfortunately being on a bad team and the relationship with the young player souring, because the guy's only 26, I think that tanks your value. And you want character guys. Paling, I think, is going to be that for Quenneville, right? Like when the Chicago Blackhawks were winning Stanley Cups, all we talk about are Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, and then Corey Crawford, right? And Antti Niemi, don't forget him. Who were the character guys on that roster? The first one I'm thinking about is Dave Bolin, Chris Versteeg, like some of those.
Patrick Sharp.
Patrick Sharp.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a top 6 guy.
He was a really good player. They just had a really good team.
Right.
But it takes.
I'm wondering what Joel is looking at. Like, how does Joel Quenneville see this, right?
Well, I think it's also the absence of Zegras. It's moving on from that situation. I'm not saying he's a bad player or bad guy or whatever, but I said this with Laine years ago when he was still a Jet. I was like, either sign him to an extension or get on with it. We can't do this. Like once a month, there's like a legitimate Patrick Laine rumor out there. Move on.
Yep.
Or commit. Oh, you're not going to commit? Then move on.
Right.
Right? So same thing with Zegras. It's too much. It's so annoying. And for the hockey world at large, this is great news. It's over. It's over. The Trevor Zegras, is he going to move on from Anaheim? It's done. Now, maybe the Flyers hate him and they move him too, but that'll be different. We finally get to move on from talking about the Ducks wanting to trade or thinking about trading Trevor Zegras. They finally actually did it. Ah! Hooray.
I think the return on the surface, like whatever tweets you see there, Adam, about people underwhelming return, like I feel like it's a little deeper than that when considering the circumstances of Zegras as you lay it out. This is a player who's expiring as an RFA. He's going to need a new contract, and that little song and dance they've been doing with him forever, like bring an end to it and get at least somebody back who can slot in as your third line center if that's where Paling's going to play, and then you don't have to figure out what that next contract is. You get that $6 million off the books. Paling's making like 1.9, so you're saving like $4 million in cap space, and you're not.
So they have more cap space.
Yeah, and you're not paying Zegras the next deal on whatever it might be. If it's 6 again or something in that range, you're not committing to a player who you don't think can grow into what he can be. And on the Flyers side, you're taking the bet that he can be that player. I don't know. I think it's pretty fair on both sides.
This trade is a bet on Leo Carlson for the Ducks. I think
Totally.
The Ducks' projected cap space is now $36 million, and that's
holy shit
after taking on Chris Kreider's $6.5. It could be 42.
and Jacob Trouba.
And Jake Trouba.
So
I mean, you got to have people playing for you.
So the 45th pick that's in this trade, is that this year?
Yep.
Okay, so that's a little bit why you make this trade now. But you get it done on Monday when the draft is on Friday. If you want to be exciting about it, the reason you do it now is you got other stuff you want to work on. If you're the Flyers and if you're the Ducks. More specifically, probably if you're the Ducks, because they're the ones acquiring the pick.
They have 10 picks in this draft, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first 3 rounds.
Choo! That's pretty good.
Not bad.
It's a good spot to be in if you didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, and $36 million to spend.
I think they're gonna.
What is that?
They're gonna spend big and trade big.
Why not?
Why
You
the
should.
frig not?
So yeah, interesting deal, and I didn't realize that Zegras made that much. The other guy that I feel like has been traded a billion times, but has been a little bit more consistent for the Ducks is Troy Terry. Remember the contract negotiations and how salty those were? Although he's sort of lived up. There was a point at which we thought Troy Terry and Trevor Zegras were going to be the next wave of superstar in the NHL, and they just turned out to be good players.
Have you noticed the knock on every Duck is they can't defend?
Well, it might have been the way they drafted. Troy Terry's 27, by the way. Can you believe that?
No, I can't.
27 now?
Yeah.
What?
I'm willing to bet he. You know, it's interesting. There's all these longtime Ducks. Like, how would Zegras have done under Quenneville? I don't know. How would Terry have done under Quenneville? Well,
we'll find out.
If he gets moved. Also, holy crap. Like, if you move on from that guy, like, are you even at the cap floor? Like,
yeah.
What are they?
Yeah.
What's the plan?
No,
for this
I think you
upcoming
need to keep
season?
Troy Terry.
Yeah,
Well,
no, you do. You need.
And if
need
you
more.
don't keep him, you got to get someone you're spending some money on.
Zegras, by the way, makes 5.75. Is it?
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's almost 6.
Okay.
5.75. Yeah.
That's too much for what he was, and I think that it'll be hilarious. Him and Mitchkov, if they ever end up playing on the same line, the puck will never hit the ice. They'll just bat it to each other. Like, it's kind of nuts. The Flyers might be like Harlem Globetrotter-esque, which is so not their DNA.
No, it's not.
Rick Tocchet, who was a Flyer, a longtime Flyer, I wonder what kind of a team he wants to assemble here, because you got to think they're going to get back to what they're supposed to be.
You can beat the shit out of your opponents all you want. It's at the end of the day, it's a goal scoring contest, and the Flyers.
I think the Flyers probably want to be the new Panthers, don't they?
It wasn't even that they were soft; they stunk at hockey. That's a very big problem. If you're
And their
a hockey
coach
team.
knew that they stunk and said it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and said, "I
and
can't
said
do
it,
this."
and I can't do this. And they said, "You don't have to, bud."
It's
And
crazy. You don't need to.
That's crazy.
That
Anyway, see ya.
the $32 million that the Ducks have available, they do have contracts that they need to give out. Mason McTavish, who's an RFA,
That'll be
needs a new
expensive.
deal. Dostal needs a new deal
That'll
as
be
well.
expensive.
And then you're going to get into the situation where you got to start paying the young guys, right? Like the contracts are going to come up, and like next year, Leo Carlson and Cutter Gauthier need deals. So this money is going to get spent eventually. They're in a really good position to be careful with it. So yeah, the Ducks are primed to spend this money wisely on their guys and be pretty good in the next couple seasons.
Chris Kreider is their second highest paid forward, and the top forward is in trade rumors. That's actually nuts. Their D-core is Trouba has 1 more year. Gudas has 1 more year. My bet is both of them get traded. So
No.
I think they're going to the playoffs,
Yeah.
man. I
well,
really
if they don't make the playoffs. If
Right,
they do,
right.
then yeah.
No,
but-
they're in perfect position to trade them at the deadline. Yes.
yeah, Mintyukov.
don't do the own rental thing. Don't fall for that shit.
Like Lacombe needs a contract next year. Mintyukov does as well. Olin Zellweger needs a contract. Like, there's a lot of deals that have been handed
You
out.
almost hope they stink 1 more year
Yeah.
to keep those numbers down.
that those
'Cause
guys don't put up crazy numbers.
That's a lot of really good players on expiring deals.
But you're not selling Marner on the Ducks if you're saying you're going to stink next year.
No,
so I
I
think
know
they
that.
are trying to win. I think the fact that they're in those sweepstakes, even if they're an outside contender,
I mean, geez, they should be in the sweepstakes for everything.
yeah, they should just buy up the
At
market.
this rate, if you need to get rid of a bad contract, I mean, they obviously want picks for this year's draft. They got them in the Flyers deal. Like, I don't know. How do you feel about David Kampf in a 6th?
If I'm the Ducks, I'd just say to the prospective free agents, what color do you want our jersey to be? And that's what will make it.
Oh, no, just have a contest at like an elementary
Another
school.
one.
Yeah, we're teal now, just like the Sharks. And our logo's a shark.
Oh,
We don't know what the hell we are. Like, dude, the Ducks, pick a thing and stick to it. Oh, you're bright orange? Leave it.
okay.
You're bright orange for at least 6-7 years.
Now, a listener of our show, Jason, reached out 2 years ago His dad, Matt, had been diagnosed with ALS, and we talked about this last year. And we wanted to raise money and help him raise money for the ALS Super Fund. His brother and mom and dad have all become advocates to raise awareness for this disease and raise funds and find a cure. It's unrelenting. It can affect anybody at any age, anytime. There is no cure. You have a 1 in 350 chance of being diagnosed with ALS before you turn 85. 80% of people with ALS die within 3 years of being diagnosed. Right now, there are 4,000 families living with ALS in Canada. And remember, it's the patient and the caregiver. It's, it does take a toll. They always say this, especially with senior citizens. It's like, the person that really wears the brunt is the day-to-day caregiver. And so what we want to do is we want to raise money, try to find a cure. And thanks to the relentless efforts of Mark Critton, all 7 NHL teams have united in support of the ALS Super Fund, and we want you to be a part of that as well.
Canadian teams.
All 7 Canadian NHL teams leading their own initiatives to raise money, and they've raised over $1 million. Boreas Salming passed away from ALS a few years ago. So if you want to donate to the ALS Super Fund, go to alssuperfund.ca or check the links in the description of this video. Let's talk about. I want to talk about the Leafs. There are some rumors and stuff that we'll get to in Mason Lohrei's deal, but I want to talk a little Leafs because the Leafs asset management of the last 5 to 7 years has been, in my mind, pretty bad. And Topi Niemela is now going to Europe. That is officially signed. He's going back. This is a former 2nd round pick, smallish defenseman. Definitely doesn't fit the Brad Treliving type. Definitely fits the Kyle Dubas type, although Kyle probably could have traded for his rights if he had wanted them.
The problem isn't that he's not a Brad Treliving type. The problem is he stopped being good. Last year, really small right-handed defenseman. You look at it and you go, yeah, but is he going to make it in the NHL? But he put up great numbers in the A. This past season, it's like, can he make it in the AHL?
Maybe injuries, maybe play style, whatever it is. But where I want to go with this is this is now the second guy, right?
From the same trade. So the Leafs traded down in, I don't remember which year, 2020 or 2021.
Senators got Clevin.
They got Clevin, who
he's an NHLer.
I liked him in the playoffs.
He plays in the NHL.
He's in the NHL. Leafs got Roni Hirvonen, who another smallish guy, battled injuries. He got a huge concussion from where? That's right, an intra-squad game at prospect camp. And then Topi Niemela, who just fizzled.
And this is the thing. Sometimes, and no disrespect to, I'm going to use Fraser Minten as an example.
Sure.
Leafs traded Fraser Minten, they got Brandon Carlo. I will back that trade 100 times out of 100, no matter where the Leafs go with this, because you just don't know what these prospects are going to be.
Well, and I
think Fraser Mitten's a good player. I think he'll probably play NHL games. I have no idea if he's going to ever rise above what we got, which is, it was like when they drafted Freddie Gauthier, it's like, yeah, he tops out as maybe a third liner, and the Leafs tried him there, and it didn't work.
Fraser Minten might already be what Freddie Gauthier tops out as.
This is where. Yeah, it's probably true. It's disrespectful to Fraser Minten, who I like immensely. I think where I get frustrated is the Leafs not only allowed for quote unquote own rentals to leave for nothing. Mm-hmm. And I said it at the time, and I will say it now. I would have rather the Leafs early on trade guys like Bozak and Bams Riebsteig, even though they were going to the playoffs, to get assets back that would have helped them in the longer term. Mm-hmm. And when they hung on to guys like Hirvonen and Niemela, or even hung on to the picks and didn't make moves at the deadline with those picks, with that Clevin pick, this is where I feel like it's such a damn shame. This is a 2nd rounder. A 2nd rounder gets you a lot in the NHL. Man, Mason Marchment got traded for less than a 2nd rounder.
No, Adam, let me tell you something.
Mason Marchment. Guys, this is bad. That's bad. I'm just here to tell you, you should be, if you're mad at anything, you should be mad at that.
So let me talk about something with Dubas, because we've criticized him a lot on the show, and I've had a few people yip back, and it's valid. Honestly, it's valid.
Are they all named Kyle?
They're all named Kyle, D, and they're like, yeah, but you sang his praises for a long time.
Yes,
and he, first of all, wasn't bad the whole time. And also, we were excited for this young team that's on the up and things are getting better. Mm-hmm. Surely this guy is part of the reason that they're getting better. But Also,
We also have to remember what they were before. Kyle
Yeah.
Dubas was a huge
they
upgrade on
they
that.
were dog ass. This guy wasn't even 30.
Yeah.
This is Wunderkind. And all right, what's your new trick? Oh, it's the same as the old trick and the old trick and the old trick. The trading down thing with Dubas, the logic, there were so many things with him where I'm like, the logic's there. That's perfect. That's great. So, okay, if you're going to do all these own rentals, which you obviously don't love.
I hated that. I
Great.
hated it at the time. I hate it now.
But we're going forward and we're trying to be as good as we can now. If you're going to do that sort of thing, what do? You trade back. You
To
trade,
get more assets.
so you get more assets. Here's the problem. In almost every trade back deal,
They didn't hit.
they know. And it looks even worse because some of the picks that were the higher pick that they traded away, the team that they traded with did hit. Whatever you think Clevin tops out as, they hit.
He's playing NHL games.
He's playing NHL games.
That's more than Hervinen and Niemela.
Like, I'm trying to find, is this? No, that's not really the trade. They would pick guys in the third round, like SDA, Simeon
Which-
Jurga-Chimsev.
Like, why?
well,
He's,
because
guys, he's small and he doesn't like the thing with they took bets on high skill short guys.
but if he hits, you're going for
Which
the market.
but if he hits ever worked?
But if he hits, you're going for the market inefficiency. He's little and guys aren't drafting him because he's little. And then the more years pass by, you're like, oh, this is just, that's what he does every pick. Nearly every pick. And then, well, that's the guy who drafted Matthew Knies. And then you find out he wanted to trade down again.
And Wes Clark stepped in.
Clark was like, you idiot. Don't. Which is why Dubas stole him and took him to Pittsburgh. Because how many post first round picks did the Leafs hit on during that era?
I mean, Joseph Wall's one of them.
Joseph Wool is one of them. That's
Matthew Knies is another one. He was not a first round pick.
right.
Currently on the roster.
Are you counting the guys they didn't keep? Like
Like-
Dursey was second round.
Yeah, Andreas Janssen.
Jersey. Okay, here's
Nick
why
Robertson?
Jersey counts. Jersey counts because you traded him for Muzzin, who was a useful Leaf for a while.
Totally.
Yep.
Right? So that's not like, oh, the one who got away. No, you knew what you had. You used the second rounder on him and you traded him for someone who is good now.
Fraser Minton, same thing.
Yeah,
When he makes the NHL.
yeah, and you used him.
Yeah,
to-
that's what I'm saying. Like the same
Yeah.
where you use Jersey to get something.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. My only problem with this conversation is I think right now we're yelling at ghosts. Like nobody,
It's
I
spilled
don't think anybody in that front office who made all those decisions is around today. To
They're
make,
all still there.
but like the guy in charge who's making the end of the decision is
That's
Brad
true.
Treliving, who didn't make any of these errors.
That is
And
true.
Something like the own rentals of Bozak and JVR, that was 2018.
There's a
But
long time.
that was the year to do it, right? When they were still young.
Right, but like the decisions made in 2018, I don't think apply to the 25-26 season. Like that's so long.
The
ago.
Panthers have made plenty of mistakes since 2017.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it. I get
but
it. I
like-
guess I just think that's the key thread running through this team. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, and I think now finally they've made enough changes with Keith Pelly at the top, Brendan Shanahan gone, and Brad Treliving in there, finally putting in his own people in the front office, a new head coach that were enough removed from those individuals that right now sitting here, that regime feels very close, but we got to let this front office play out a little to see the fruits of their labor.
And my problem
We haven't
with that
seen that yet.
is that I don't. So I'm looking at, and this plays into a bigger discussion. There's a reason I brought Topi Niemela up. I'm not sure that you guys came in today going, man, I can't wait to do a dissertation on that. I'm looking at the Leafs right now, and obviously there's the reports out there that Tavares and the Leafs aren't close. Whatever, it's a negotiation. I'm sure they'll figure it out. There's the rumors out there that Knies and the Leafs aren't coach. Whatever. Again, deadlines clear the mind. Second round pick,
right.
Matthew Knies. You're absolutely right. Where I get concerned is I'm looking at the free agent market, and I'm not seeing a whole lot that makes the Leafs better than last
You're
year.
going to have to sign young.
I'm looking at rolling into next year, and I think it's pretty obvious that the Leafs, on paper, how they play is different. On paper, will not have a more talented lineup than they did last year rolling into camp. I think that's a fair assessment.
On D, it'll be better
100%.
Oh,
if they keep Carlo.
Carlo,
But,
yeah. And I'm not seeing a whole lot from which to trade from. You got Cowan, you got Danford, and you got very little else.
You might have to trade off the D.
So if you're trading, if you're Brad Treliving right now, where I think the Niemela conversation plays into this, and I totally get what you guys are saying, that's a long time ago, is that the lack of assets now is partially due to the decisions that were made 5 years ago.
Well, and the Leafs agree. That's why they've gone out and they've signed all these college and major junior guys.
Because they're hoping Cade Weber hits, or who was the other kid that they signed?
Cade Weber, Blake Smith,
Jimmy VC.
Jimmy VC, who did not sign here.
They signed a kid.
They signed a kid like 3 months ago, didn't they?
Yeah, and he did really well. I'll look.
Yeah. My point is, right? That's where I'm trying to get with this.
I can't blame Brad Treliving for the situation the previous people put him into.
I don't either, but I'm concerned that there's very little from which to work from. Tell me how even trading off the roster and switching positions. Like, let's say you trade
Luke Hames.
Yeah, he looks really good.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they didn't get Jimmy VC?
Yeah,
I do.
And then they got him.
And then they got him. And they're like, Seward him.
And then
you're vanilla. And then he was really good elsewhere.
And then MLSE's like, we can't show any of this documentary except for the Jimmy VC scene.
Yeah, just Sheldon Keefe fucking up Jimmy VC's career. Meanwhile, we know behind the scenes that he was fucking up everybody else's too. And what I mean by that, he was calling
one guy.
Yeah, but you know what? Just the Jimmy one. He's not here anymore. If I was Jimmy VC, I would never forgive Shanahan for that. Because Shanahan approved all that shit.
Didn't he score 2 goals in his first game against the Leafs?
Yeah. My point is, I really, people are like, well, not a whole lot of options there on the free agent market for the Leafs. I'm seeing guys like Mangiapane, Riley Smith, Riley Smith, who put up career lows, who's 34. And he's supposed to get something like $4.5 million, which is roughly what you're hoping to pay Tavares. He's not getting paid that low.
No, he's not. He's getting at least
I think he's getting 6. But, you're looking at this and you're going, oh, well, Mangiapane, man, the guy had a renaissance year. He had 14 goals. Riley Smith was not good for Pittsburgh or Vegas.
The Mangiapane is, listen, if he makes what he made last year, no, I don't want him. He's not gonna.
Well, he was like a $6 million deal.
It was close to 6.
But he might be 4.5.
Yeah, I don't know if I love 4.5, but
I mean, it's free agency. You're going to overpay.
Yeah, this is part of the problem.
But this is my thing. Now we get into the world with the Leafs where you got not much to trade, and you got to sign a bunch of free agents who you're taking bets on, and you're overpaying for because that's what free agents.
I think that's Adam. You have a common phrase of when these things come up, and you're like, "That's not my job."
Yeah,
I feel like we're asking Brad Treliving to get creative here, come up with something. We can't see a lot of options here with this roster, and moving off of it. That's for you to figure out.
Yeah.
Get creative, come up with solutions because you have to improve on this team. You have to try something in the offseason. You have a lot of holes to plug. Get creative with the roster. We've been seeing recently some different kinds of hockey moves and trades, and Brad Treliving needs to start getting into these things.
This is where I request something. Okay? If we're going to get creative, and then Steve, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
You look at this roster and you go, why do we have to spend the cap this summer? Why can't we wait for things not to work?
Oh,
because Freege and CJ have both said every team except for the Penguins is looking to get it better right now. If you can not spend your brains out and wait for a Pierre-Luc Dubois situation, a Jake Chychrun situation, not to pick on these Senators, a DeBrincat situation, although Detroit's not made the playoffs with him, he's still very good. You got to find guys on contracts that teams are like, this is a little high for me. And go and take advantage of that. Your Mason Marchment. Hey, we're in a cap crunch. We're going to give you Mason Marchment for a 3rd and a 4th. And the Leafs were in on that.
They wanted him, but apparently taxes matter so much that his GM's like, I'm going to do right by you and send you to another no income tax.
We did this for...
Yeah.
No, I know.
My point is you can't... And I don't... Anybody that's looking at that Ryan Reeves contract, stop it. They're burying it, or somebody will pick him up. Just stop worrying about that. Stop worrying about what Bobby McMahon makes or even what Scott Laughton made. You made the trade, you made your bed, whatever. Okay? Calle Jarnkrok isn't going to get you shit on the market, so you may as well just keep him at $2 million.
I agree.
David Kampf isn't... I think you
have to move him.
You have to move him. Max Domi, you might move. You can't move Nylander or Austin, and those are the only forwards under contract. Holmberg, I think...
you need to bring back.
You think you bring him back? Yeah,
It's an RFA.
Yeah, you bring him back, but Steve, like, what role do you? If you have a team and Holmberg is on the top 12, this is what I'm talking about.
I'll put him on the 4th. You got to remember, October isn't April.
Yes.
Right? So if we get to the deadline, the Leafs are in a playoff spot, who knows where, and we discover, okay, they need a forward.
Mhm.
Those are always available.
100%.
They're always available. They have a little bit of draft capital to work from. You can trade off your roster. You can blah, 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 blah. This is why, like, Yarn Croak in the playoffs. Well, here, I got great news for you. October, November, December, January. There's no playoffs there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a guy who will he'll almost for sure put up double-digit goals for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's done his whole career, basically. He'll have a summer where he's not recovering from every injury.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you keep him. You're going to have to overpay for UFAs. Okay, great. Well, let me tell you about this thing called RFAs. And they usually don't get overpaid. And guess what? You got a bunch of them. There's Matthew Knies. You're going to have to pay him a lot, but I got great news for you. He's really good.
Yeah. And so that's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Pontus Holmberg can ask for actually shit. Hey, Leafs, I want, here's like $900,000. Like, whatever, shut up.
Yeah. What about Nick Robertson?
About the same. Maybe he cracks a mil. Maybe. Then I think you got to add, like, I don't know, 2 guys. Put it this way. You got goaltending.
You got defense.
You got 2 goaltenders.
And you want to trade one of them.
No, I don't. That was I theorized it, and then I was like, you know what? Actually, that's stupid and shitty. Let's not do it.
Okay, good.
You got a
Just
decor.
checking in on that one.
You got a decor. You could trade off of it to make your forwards better, but then you got a little bit of a hole in your decor. What if you just keep the decor? And then going forward, if you have a need, the need is the most plentiful position in the sport.
Winger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the Leaf 70.
I do too.
I do too.
think they got something with that D.
I wouldn't trade a single one of them. Like they're
No.
Is it a
people
little
are saying,
old?
well,
Sure.
it's a strength of theirs. I think defense and goaltending they finally have.
It's not a weakness.
Although I would trade Morgan Riley, but he doesn't want to go because he just built a house. The one thing I will say though, guys, is I think it's smarter for the Leafs to be patient. And I think it's smarter. Like, listen, you're going to need warm bodies, right?
Yeah.
I think it's smart. I think that this is still a really good team. I still think this is at very least a wild card team next year.
Oh my
and
God.
I think you got to wait and find the problems in the regular season when they happen.
This
Every
team's
year
a
this
wild
happens.
card team, I think a lot of people are upset.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be upset about that.
Yeah, you might not be, but I think this has mass hysteria in the streets of Toronto.
I can't wait. That'll be great content. I just feel like the smart thing here is to look at this, and I posed this in the group chat, and I know how you guys feel about it, but I'm going to throw it at you anyway. I think the smart move is 24-month cycle. You go into the season, you have a ton of cap space available, you take advantage of other teams' problems, whether they need to use you for a 1-year cap dump and somebody passes through town and you get a few picks for it or prospects or whatever, or it's a Pierre-Luc Dubois situation where you get a problem contract and try to make that player good on your team, which the Capitals did. The Capitals, Mangiapane, Chikrin, who was still good in Ottawa, but they got him for friggin' nothing. Dubois and other players on the Caps. The Caps are a perfect example of what the Leafs could do.
Joffrey Lupul was a cap dump when he arrived in Toronto.
This is my thing.
Yeah.
Why spend it all in free agency? Like if the Leafs have a quiet July 1st, I will quietly be very happy because, well, actually I'll be loudly very happy because I think they'll have done the smart thing. You got to get some guys, but I do think they need a third line center. They've needed one since Nazem Kadri was traded. Mm-hmm. But the point is, it's not out there. It's not available. Why spend on something that isn't a fit?
Can I predict?
Give it to me.
They'll sign a couple depth D.
And they'll be gigantic.
They'll sign a third goalie.
Matt Murray?
They're going to get...
Matt Murray.
Honestly, might be Matt Murray. They're going to get Mangiapane, Brandon Tanev, and Tanner Jeannot.
Oh, Tanner Jeannot will be fun.
They're going to get...
Just throw hits.
Bigger, uglier, meaner. Well, in absence of talent, right? If you're not going to be able to score 1 billion goals a night and your head coach is Craig Berube, you might as well beat the shit out of the other team.
I think Toronto would like that very much.
And I think they're going to try.
Team with a little bit of attitude.
They're going to be less talented and tougher. Toughness is cheaper than talent.
Mm-hmm.
And when they meet, they're double the price, right? But those unicorns are rarely available.
And you have one, and you're going to re-sign him this offseason.
Yes. So they're going to head into next season with a, I think, tremendously disappointing, unsatisfying team on paper. They're going to be fine and people will get used to it. And then trade deadline comes around and it's like, oh, okay, well, we can go out and acquire the players who are available every single year.
Because and also we have $1 billion in cap space. That's the thing. I don't want them spending the cap. I really don't think it's out there. And I also think here's a question, gentlemen. This is my next question. If the team plays like that, they don't win as much, they don't score as much, but they got some attitude and some confidence. Does that not make them likable, which is something this team has lacked?
Yeah, it makes them in better position to go deep in the playoffs. Like, I don't think just because they lose Mitch Marner that automatically they're going to be a worse team for the playoff stretch of things. Like, I think this easily could be an addition by subtraction year where they do get tougher and all of a sudden they're more primed for a deep playoff run. And the regular season might not look as pretty in terms of like the win total, but they could be better in the playoffs.
I like that. I like that a lot.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I feel like losing in a satisfying way is an art, and the Leafs don't do that. Like,
duh.
Whenever they lose, like I'm talking regular season, I'm talking dog days in November.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, that sucked.
They didn't show up tonight. They're hungover.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Or whatever. But
remember that game in Nashville? Remember that awful game in like March or April?
Oh,
it was just
it
was like, wow, why are we even watching?
Yeah, go check the tapes of Broadway. See if spot a couple of guys out there.
Oh man,
maybe.
Well, it's 2013. Like again, that is not the team you want to replicate necessarily because they were bad. That was a bad hockey team. Man, people liked them though. People really liked them. They got saves. They had a few guys who were pew lasers with the goals.
I love that Kadri-Lupul pairing on the third line.
And they would just beat your ass. There was a game, I remember the Leafs were tuning up the Habs. And at the end of the game, for no good reason, Fraser McLaren and Colton Orr go out there and they're like, and we're going to beat you up. We're going to smash you and beat you up for no good reason, other than we're the Leafs and you're the Habs. And we should. And our fans, I think, will enjoy it. I think they'll like it. It was great. Now, getting outshot 45-22 every night wasn't great. I don't think that's going to happen to Craig Berube hockey teams. So I know we all want them to go out there and
swing big.
Let's get Ehlers and let's trade for Troy Terry. Screw
Brock
it.
Besser.
And we're going to get Brock Besser
Is
too.
everybody off of Brad Marchand coming to the Leafs?
It's not happening.
I mean, listen, I think the Panthers probably should keep him.
I'm going to believe the drunk guys. Based on the Panthers and their drunk honesty.
Ekblad for sure is gone.
Bennett's back. Marchand's back. Ekblad's gone. Believe them. I believe them. I don't think they're messing with him.
I know that there's a report out there that Gavrikov's for sure going to New York. Like everybody around the league thinks Gavrikov's going to New York. I was thinking too, I'm like, fuck, Ekblad, LA. Or Ekblad, New York, or something like that. Like I feel like there's a reason why like New York's so shifty on defense right now. Like they're, K-Andre Miller, they're taking calls on him or whatever. Like I feel like Ekblad is going to hit the mark and he's going to make a fortune. And I know he's put his body on the line for the team and whatever. And I think this guy's going to make a crazy amount of money. Like, I don't think people are ready for Aaron Ekblad, right shot defenseman, first round pick, hitting the market after a crazy Stanley Cup.
I think there's a world where that contract stinks a whole lot.
Sure. Do you care after the first 3 years?
He's an extremely good player, and he was really good for them in the playoffs.
Does New York care? They have no problem getting contracts out of town.
That's true.
What does New York care?
That is true. He's had lots of injuries and like significant injuries. He's already tested positive once. Like you don't do that because you're in a good position physically, though.
Yeah, he was taking it for recovery.
Yeah. Like, the thing, like I keep bringing up that happened, but like, damn, if my body felt the way his did, I might do steroids too, or whatever it was.
Side note on that, a lot of people mentioned to us that Major League Baseball, when you test positive for a PED in a regular season, you're also banned from the playoffs. So let's say you tested positive in game 1 and you got a 70-game suspension. You come back in game 71. Even though you played the rest of the regular season, you're still banned for the playoffs. And I think the NHL should enact that rule.
Call it Bello.
That's
for the Jays, remember?
Yes, that happened to him. I think
wrecked his career.
That's a perfect rule.
Like, I didn't see a ton of pushback when I was like, if you have a player on your roster who tests positive, do you dock points from the standings? Now, people were like, it might be a bit of a slippery slope.
Yeah.
That is a perfectly reasonable, okay, you can come back, you can play in the regular season, maybe even help them make the playoffs, which not everyone's going to be happy with. You can play in the playoffs.
Exactly. And I
think
think
pissed hot.
I think MLB has a very fair solution to all that. And yeah, you shouldn't be allowed in the playoffs. And I think that's a good compromise.
In a contact sport?
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
Mark Hunt sued UFC because, if I'm not mistaken, the lawsuit was you had me fight Brock Lesnar, and the accusation was you knew he pissed hot.
Yeah.
You knew he was on performance enhancers, and you sent me into the octagon against a roided up 290-pound gorilla.
You're threatening my life.
I could have died in the octagon against. Now, UFC is not hockey, but hockey's as close to it as it's closer to it than a lot of other sports.
Yep.
It's a contact sport. There's a dude who tested positive, and you know that, and I'm playing again. What?
I think
Anyway.
so. Yeah, that was just a side note to the Aaron Ekblad free agency discussion. I think that's a fair compromise in the NHL. And hopefully in the CBA, they tighten things up on that.
I would hope so, but you wouldn't want to ban entire teams, would you?
What's the argument against? Well,
listen, it's not like
don't cheat.
It hasn't been rampant for years.
Don't do
you just,
so much.
You just got caught.
I think Aaron Ekblad's gonna get a giant payday from somebody, and I don't know if the contract is gonna look good in 4 years.
Yeah. So
Mostly. He's 29. To be fair, but I don't know, a lot of hard miles,
29
hard miles on that body.
Now, I mean, and mind, like he got bad concussions too. Like
on the Tavares and Knies stuff, I just want to. I know we quickly touched, but I want to expand on it a little bit. Tavares being offered, the report out there, it's very muddy right now because one person's reporting that the Leafs offered him a 3 or 4 year deal at under what Matt Duchene got. Frank Saravalli then said this morning on the Fan 590 that he has not heard that's not the case. So I don't know where it is.
Can I read the report from LeBrun, which I feel like is the most clear one?
I would say so,
and
yes.
most honest. LeBrun wrote in The Athletic on Saturday, there's still more than a week to go before July 1st, but the Leafs and John Tavares' camp, led by Pat Brisson, still haven't found their sweet spot on an extension. Wherever each side is, it wasn't close enough as of Saturday. The stakes are high here. You've got a 34-year-old player who doesn't want to leave his home, and a team that can ill afford to lose a second-line center who just scored 38 goals and 74 points. Deadline spur decisions. It's probably still going to get done, but it's a fascinating one to be sure. All of those words, the final lines, it's probably still going to get done. It's a fascinating one for sure.
Yeah, they're far apart. Oh, but it's still going to get done. Is the solution here a short deal?
No, I think a long deal is the solution. I think the Tanev deal is the solution.
Yeah, I think something longer would probably be better.
If you have a deadline, it probably would be. But if your deadline is, let's say, Friday, because you have business that you want to get done at the draft, you're going to have to figure something out.
No, I don't think it's like that. I think this is just how negotiations
But
work.
even if he hits July 1st, who cares?
They always
still
play
wants to
out
be
like
here.
this. They're far apart. They are far apart. They are far apart. Oh, deadline. They are close.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's how it always gets done in these things. Like Alan's told so many stories on AP about these things. Like
guys literally on planes back to Europe.
it's impossible.
Wow.
It's the deal.
Wow.
The deal's like never getting done. It's impossible to do it. Oh, the deadline's here. Oh, magically the deal's very close, and we both agree.
There's a clip that we should resurface. Like, we don't need Alan to say it again. Like, just he's on the phone with a player. He's like, "Do you want to go to this team or this team?" The player's like, "Let me get back to you tomorrow." He's like, "Tomorrow?"
Yeah, you got 5 minutes.
It's one of my favorite line deliveries on this show. 5 minutes. It was 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm on the line with both of them.
Yep. Yeah,
You
I
have to
think
make a decision now.
I think there was a Havlat one, Jesse, if I remember properly. Havlat got to the airport and passed the gate, and was going back, and then I think Muckler called. It was a Senators negotiation, I think, and Muckler called and said, "Okay, we'll do it," and then he got back off the plane and did not leave.
What do you do? Like, what do you say? I'm not going anymore. Like, what do you say at the gate?
You just say,
why are you turning around? That's weird.
You're allowed to leave.
I know. I've just never seen it.
Just a huge pain in the ass if your bags are on the plane.
Yeah. Sorry. Can you not fly away with my things? I'm not going there anymore.
Although if you're an NHL player, it's like, I can buy new clothes.
I'll buy new
I
shit.
just signed a big contract.
Yeah.
So
hilarious.
yeah, I think with Knies and with Tavares, the one thing that like I understand why people want a big DNA change and they don't want Tavares to be a part of. I guess my view of it is this is the one guy that really wants to be here. If reports are to be believed, like Matthews obviously wants to be here. He likes being here. Nylander loves being here. All these guys, like, you know, the Florida Panthers PR campaign to get Mitch Marner to sign there, which doesn't seem like it's needed anymore because they won the cup anyway, and they're not going to have room for him. That thing is just one person's opinion. There are a lot of guys that want to be here. Tavares, I get it. He wasn't great in the second round. I get it. Didn't score enough. I get it.
Who's the list of guys who were?
Too many passengers, I think, is the point.
And anyone listening who's like, here are the stats from the second round, wrong, bad. What was it like after game 2? That's all that friggin' matters. Here's the all-encompassing, wrong. Learn lessons for the love of God.
3-7.
Steve, what is going on?
I'm pre-arguing. Well, in games 1 and 2, got it wrong again.
Are you upset about those losses?
Fuck yeah.
I can't tell.
Yeah.
No, well, in games 1 and 2, tell someone who gives a flying fuck because it's not me. They
Second
lost
best team.
again.
Second best team.
Oh, for sure.
Second best
Just
team.
like all the other years where they, you know what? They lost to the Cup finalists, so maybe they were third.
Yep.
Yeah, why not?
Hang that banner.
They should.
Gives a shit.
They should. Put it right up next to Ted Kennedy.
Yep.
Ted. Oh,
Now with Knies,
dude. Oh my God.
harder to read even than Tavares. Harder to read because there are some crazy numbers out there. Again, it's a negotiation, so you're gonna have crazy numbers on both sides. That's another one where again I go. I think somebody was mentioning like, well, what happens if they offer sheet him and they give him $11 million? Then I'm just like, man, shit. I guess you have to decide whether or not that would be worth the trade for you.
Can we use Matthew Knies as an example of why it's awesome to be a Leaf? Not only were you in a big commercial campaign this year, so was your brother. The Leafs make you so famous that your brother got the bag.
Yeah.
Also, like it's not uncommon for Leafs family members even to become famous, like in a good way. And get the bag.
Well, and what I don't understand is, you know, it's like, oh, well, you got to pay the Toronto tax. You got to pay them more. How come, if the Panthers have a favorable tax situation, you know what the Leafs have? They have a favorable endorsement situation. All the major corporate head offices in Canada are basically in Toronto,
and you get
Montreal.
Paid in US dollars in Canada.
And so I'm trying to understand, like, why don't you take a discount to come and get some of this endorsement money, Daddy? And look, hey, by the way, you know what team has all of those companies buying advertising time on their ice? The Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's start flipping the script here.
What was the Jets thing?
What do you mean?
Like the every year, like teams will have like a partners game where they treat their partners to a game.
Yeah, it was in Toronto.
Yeah, the Winnipeg Jets was in Toronto.
Yeah, because that's where the corporate head offices are.
Not like partners as in like wives and...
Oh, no.
No, we're talking about like corporate partners.
Sponsors, my bad.
Sponsors
like
thing is in
corporate
Toronto.
partners.
I was a little confused.
My bad.
I was there. I went to it.
That's
Why were you
insane.
there?
Because we had a partner at the time who was a major sponsor of the Jets.
Oh.
And they invited me to go along.
That's crazy.
So, and I was there, cheering for the Leafs as quietly as I could in the Winnipeg Jets box at Scotiabank Arena. Not even kidding. And the Leafs won.
Hooray.
Hooray. Mason Lohrei, re-signed by the Boston Bruins, 2 years, $3.2 million. What's weird about this is that this is a good young defenseman, and they're bridging him in an era where the cap is exploding.
It smacks of I keep bringing this up. The
Sam Reinhart Buffalo?
The Sabres bridged Reinhart for as far. Listen, maybe we could go back to what they did at the time, and there's logic behind it. It was a stupid decision.
There's no logic in the Sabres.
It was really dumb, really bad. The Sabres were a bad team with a good young player, and they bridged him. No, bad. The Bruins are making the same mistake with Mason Lohrei. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And I wondered. That's
and
why I'm
they
bringing it
also
up.
like didn't get much of a discount.
Well, I mean, I think he listen, if I was his agent, I'd be like, well, he's a young defenseman, does well. You see him as a part of your future. Why not $5 million? You want him on a long-term deal.
I guess.
He also
but
shoots
it
left.
isn't a long-term deal, is
He
it?
had 33 points this year, Mason Lohrei.
How come?
Well, their best players were not playing.
Yeah.
And he got a lot of power plays in him.
So his points
He had
are
16 points on the power play.
I think it would be, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I think it would be fairly miraculous.
Merchant.
It would be fairly miraculous if he did that again.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he takes a
But
crazy
Steve,
step.
As his agent, I would say he can do that again.
Okay, great.
You just have to give him the opportunity.
So this is great. So he's going to go up and up.
Mhm.
And guess what? Up in 2 years, and you got to pay me again. So where's the scenario where the Bruins do well here? You know what I mean?
I guess they're trying to make a big move this summer and trying to keep as much cap space for next year available.
Well,
Possible.
Because
to
going
look at their
forward,
cap situation.
if Lohrai's great, you're going to have to pay him.
Yeah. Oh, but that's a good problem to have. Yeah, they get 23 million projected. So they're going to have some money to spend.
It feels weird that this isn't longer.
It does.
It
It's-
does.
Yeah, no, it's strange.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, he was a minus 43 last year. I
Do
know
we know where
the
he
Bruins.
finished in the NHL Masters?
the NHL Masters.
Yeah, who got the low score?
Oh, I don't
and
know.
Plus minus. Where do you know where minus 43 finishes?
I'm going to guess it's
10th.
top 10.
10th worst.
It's got to be top 10.
What's your number? Where do you think? I'm asking.
I'm saying 10th worst.
I'm going to
You
say
say
I'm
10?
going to say
Okay.
7th.
7th, Mason Lohrei on the NHL Masters wore the green jacket.
Oh,
wow.
He has the worst plus minus from this past season.
Wow, and Bertuzzi second, Rasmus Anderson
Mason
third.
Lohrei was
Wow,
a minus
wow.
43, which is the worst plus minus. Tyler Bertuzzi comes in at second, minus 39. Rasmus Anderson, minus 38, is
Is
third.
also supposedly available.
Barclay Goodrow's minus 37 at fourth. Steven Stamkos
Ooh.
and Connor Bedard are tied for 5 and 6 at minus 36.
You know what's crazy about plus minus is all of those teams didn't make the playoffs. Isn't that shocking? I'm shocked.
It's so shocking.
Such a good stat.
I mean, Mason Lohrei being minus 43.
It's notable.
It
Oh, it's
doesn't
notable.
mean
Boston
much.
team.
But it's also like, hey, you were like a 6-7 for us. Can you be on our top pair now?
Yeah.
Like, that's basically what happened to the guy.
But what's
Yeah.
interesting about this is Boston is easily the best team on that list. You got Chicago, Calgary, San Jose three or
No,
four
Calgary
times.
would be the best team on the list.
Oh, Calgary would be, yeah, because they
were
finished
like
a point
2
out.
points out of the playoffs.
And Rasmus Anderson played hurt like all year.
Yeah, and you know, Stammer in Nashville. Jeez.
The Mason Lohrei thing, like Steve, I think you nailed it. He should be playing behind Lindholm and Zadorov on the left side of their D
Yes.
pairing. He's the third pairing defenseman on the left side. He had to play up in the lineup because they were injured. So, like, it makes sense that he had a horrible plus minus, and next year he should have a bounce back season playing in a role that's right for him.
It's like, and I could see this conversation being unearthed when he has a really good season, but like, okay, haha. Once his contract's up, though, you're the one who's fucked.
Yeah, you got to pay him.
Yeah, I'm not. I think a 2-year deal for Boston is a bad outcome.
Yeah, is it not smart to pay him now when he had probably one of the worst seasons he's going to have?
Best case scenario, he like sort of disappoints the next 2 years. You sign him long term, and then he's great.
That's a best
Like,
case. Is your
I know.
player isn't good? Like it's
Yeah.
it's a weird deal for Boston.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
I don't love it.
Yeah.
And by
Neither do
that,
I.
I mean it's awesome.
Now, Jesse, I just sent this to you. Boston unveiled a new logo, and it's pretty much the same, but you should look at it. St. Louis has done the same thing. There it is on the right, 2025 and beyond. So it's sort of like a throwback to what it would have been pre-95. So you don't have the spoked wheel out. You've got the, you know,
That's the evolution there.
yeah.
This is the 48 to 95, and then 95 to 2007.
Bit of a retro throwback.
Go, girl,
then-
give us nothing.
7 to 25, and then now 25 and beyond.
Okay.
That's not bad.
No, I mean it looks really nice, and I know Bruins fans are very excited for it. They've wanted this for a long time.
Yeah.
It's less busy. Like even though it's a subtle change, it's less busy.
Yeah.
I think
it's nice.
I think it's an improvement.
Yeah.
Like I like it.
Even though they did basically nothing, they did make it better.
They
So did
improved.
you do nothing?
Yeah.
No.
I think it's just a small upgrade on what they had.
yeah.
I don't mind it.
I can't wait for this to usher in a new era of mediocrity in Boston.
I hope so.
personally hope that it's mediocre. You guys have won too many damn championships in the last 20 years.
Can you guys take
time to share? Okay,
like just stink a bit.
Freech said today on 32 Thoughts that Buffalo really, the sense around the league is they really don't want to trade JJ Peterka.
Oh my God.
Shocking. Why not?
So
is it because he's really good? And so you're really going to have to give Buffalo a reason to do it.
Buffalo be relevant challenge. Literally don't trade this person. What are you doing? What are you doing? He's too good.
I don't think he wants to be there.
Oh, he doesn't want to be there? Yeah. You think that has anything to do with him being a Sabre? They suck. The org sucks. The only way that they don't suck going forward is if they keep their good young players who don't suck.
Jason John, is it?
Jason John, Jimmy John, Jeffrey John, Lakers in 5, Peterka. Whatever. Keep him. Oh, I'm not going to sign. Then sit.
That certainly doesn't make the Sabres better, though.
No. Well, what are they going to do? Be bad? No, I've gone through this 100 times. I would tell Alan to his face. And privately, he might even be like, listen, I get it, but you're really...
I don't think he would say that. I don't think Alan privately would
Actually,
be like
no,
that
he
at
wouldn't.
all. He would stand on his business.
Steve, you're fucking this up for me. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, Alan.
You're getting close with that one.
Yeah, you are.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah, because
I thought Alan was here for a second.
It's because I ruined my vocal cords during the playoffs. Steve, you're really fucking this up for me.
Rasmus Anderson, who was third runner-up for the Green Jacket, is the feeling across the league apparently is that he is ready for something new. The Flames are willing to trade him, but it's very likely, I think, in a situation like this, where, listen, the first guy I would want to be interested in a player like this is Brad Treliving if the Leafs no longer had a guy like Morgan Riley.
Let's
just build the Flames.
But the Flames are going to trade this player. They're going to get a lot. He scores a lot. He's a right shot defenseman. Yeah. He played injured last year, but was a real hero on the Flames. And I wonder, like, that to me smells like a blockbuster trade. Like, that's going to be a monster.
I could see that. I'll tell you what'll disappoint me is if Brad Treliving spends a moment on the phone.
Oh, yeah, because the Flames are not trading with you.
Every moment Brad Treliving spends on the phone with the Calgary Flames is a moment wasted. They are not trading with you. They're petty and losers. So, they're
ownership.
I have nothing wrong with it, nothing against the fans, nothing against the team. Their owners are giant babies. They're not trading with you. However, there's been Nazem Kadri rumblings. Obviously, Rasmus Anderson. He's a right-handed defenseman who plays a lot and scores goals and is kind of a nail gun, actually. And even though he played through injuries, it's something he's willing to do.
You know what team I look at for someone like him that would be perfect?
Any of them.
Well, any of them. But a team on the rise that needs a veteran defenseman who can score points and is young and exciting is the San Jose Sharks.
Well, that's interesting. The first place my mind went, because this would be formidable on the right side, and they're looking to potentially trade a defenseman as well, the Rangers.
See, that one, I think they're getting Gavrikov in, and then I think they'll re-sign K-Andre Miller, and then they hope Adam Fox returns to form. What are you going to do? Are you going to have Rasmus Anderson and Adam Fox duke it out for PP1?
Yeah, I guess
See, where I think
too
it's
much.
Like, no disrespect to Mario Ferraro in San Jose, but it's pretty clear the Sharks need a marquee guy.
Could use some help.
I think so. That's the thing. Like, here's your instant power play quarterback with Macklin, Eklund, and Will Smith, and Tyler Toffoli.
You have puck movers back there, giving the puck to, elite, talented forwards. It's a recipe for wins. Askarov comes into his own, all of a sudden you have a hockey team, right?
I'm just saying.
The future is teal.
And just to correct you there, Ferraro plays on the left side. Their top right-handed defenseman, I think right now would be Timothy Liljegren.
Oh,
do I have a point then?
If you're looking for an upgrade on Liljegren, you probably find one out there.
Adam, if you had a point, you'd have one more than Tim.
Still no, and this is from Freege's 32 Thoughts, still no official update on Pietrangelo, but certainly he will be, but no certainty he will be ready to play next season. Vegas preparing for that possibility. He said his great career has taken a toll on his body. And again, I say to you, and I said this to you 2 weeks ago, Marner.
They're going to get Marner,
Pietrangelo is
and
not
everyone's
going to
lose their mind.
And by the way, they'll never be investigated for it. Pietrangelo does have the injuries where they can back that shit up, and he is going to he'll play later on. He'll play. Marner's going.
That's going to be crazy. It's a better outcome than my theory, which
Marner
was they're
Eichel.
going to trade Stone. Marner Eichel.
To clear up the conspiracy theories, every team is investigated for that stuff. They have to submit their medicals, and the NHL has been really stingent on the medicals and all that. So they will be investigated in some realm of the very due diligence the NHL does anyways.
I think the Pietrangelo one's an easy one. That's a slam dunk. The NHL doesn't want to find you guilty. They want you to be like, hey, he's in here? Okay, cool, good. As long as it doesn't make us look bad. Just don't make us look bad. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't make us look bad.
Don't
make us look stupid.
You had to pee into a cup? Oh, man. Be sure not to trip and spill.
Yeah. All right.
Who's the front runner right now? Because like the Kings make so much sense to get Marner.
I
The Sharks
think they're
make
there.
a lot of sense to get Marner, but I don't think they're going to be as good as a team like the Ducks next year. So the Ducks are in prime position to get Marner.
Carolina.
And then the Vegas Golden Knights are always there for the superstar.
Yeah. I think Carolina does make a lot of sense based on what the kind of player he is. Eric Tulsky strikes me as a guy who would just froth at the mouth over Mitch Marner. However, watching the Hurricanes in the playoffs, I'm not going to talk about Marner's production in the playoffs, but I am going to talk about the size of the team. They got run over. And I don't think Mitch Marner changes that.
He doesn't provide... Listen, he's an incredible player, but he doesn't provide what they need.
Yeah. And I think... So if you're Mitch and you're looking at that situation and you watched hockey in the playoffs, maybe he didn't. I would look at the LA Kings and go, well, here's a bunch of guys that have done it. I would look at the Vegas Golden Knights. Here's a bunch of guys who have done it. Carolina for me, it's like, now you got to get bigger and meaner first.
The feedback I've gotten is like Marner isn't exactly the type of player who has typically been on Vegas when they've been successful. I'm like, yeah, but they have enough beef around him that
They'll be fine.
He doesn't have to. Like, you're not signing Marner because you need him to grind on the forecheck.
No.
You're signing Marner to put up 1 billion points. That's what he does.
Yeah. Let Ivan Barbashev handle that grinding part.
Yeah, and your entire decor and this and that and that and that and that.
Yeah.
So what's your one bet right now? Where he goes?
My bet,
Sharks, it's the most fun.
Sharks is not going to happen. He wants to be in a winner. It's a two. It's probably a short-term deal, 2 to 4 years. It's not going to happen. I love San Jose. I love them. There's no way.
No, I want it to happen.
They want it. Unless they offer him like a crazy number that everybody's like, well, we couldn't walk away from that.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
They're
then
going to replicate the Tavares contract with that young core and going to have trouble paying the rest of them.
well, that's the thing, right? A couple of years from now, the Roosters will come home.
Except the is that how the saying goes, Adam?
Yeah. Come home to roost.
The Roosters come home to roost?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's chickens come home.
The rumor du
You're
jour,
rumors.
this is from Pierre Lebrun. The rumor du jour, and it is very much
Kingsman.
that, as I've not confirmed it, but I've heard it now from 2 teams. He's really hedging his bets here. Is that one option Mitch Marner is considering is a 2-year deal at around 12 to 13 million per year, positioning him to hit the market again when the salary cap skyrockets to 113 or higher million or higher in a couple of years.
Can I offer something?
Yeah,
I'm gonna read this.
Just on this. The 2 or 3 year thing makes sense to go to the contender, right? You go to Vegas, you go to the Kings, you take a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Dude, if you go and make $12 million somewhere else, Toronto, I know he doesn't care. Toronto's going to flip their shit. You know that.
Oh man,
12
maybe they
million?
won't like him now.
12 million?
Like, here,
What?
can you put this back on the screen?
Maddie, fill that back up.
That reaction will not be good.
The rumor du jour,
I don't care. He's gone.
and it is very much that, as I've not confirmed it, but have heard it now from 2 teams, is that one option Mitch Marner is considering is a 2-year deal at around 12 million to 13 million per year.
Yeah.
He's a Leaf.
What?
Like right now, he is a Leaf. He is Leaf property. What he's considering offers from whom? Oh, he can't talk to these teams.
Oh,
no. I know there's tampering,
let's play
but you got to
pretend.
be a little more subtle about it.
No, it's way
What
better
did- I
this
don't
way.
care.
Imagine you had to be more subtle about
They
it.
Yeah,
shouldn't
so
have got
play
rid
pretend.
of the week.
It would
They
be so
shouldn't have-
boring.
They shouldn't have got rid of that week where you're allowed to talk to teams.
Yeah, Adam, on the $12 million thing and hating Marner for leaving for whatever. If Mitch Marner goes to the Vegas if he goes to the Florida Panthers and signs for a $2 million deal for 7 years, I don't care.
If he signs the Paul Correa, Teemu Solani thing in Colorado.
He's gone. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on the just leave.
So, and I'm with you. I'm just saying the reaction will not be good. I will not be emotionally moved by
I
it.
heard that a
As opposed to
lot
what?
when the Carolina rumors start coming out and people are like, if he turned down a trade mid-season
He
and
had
then
a kid.
signs with them later on, he's going to be the most hated man in Toronto ever. Probably by some faction of it. I don't personally look at that as like, I'm going to hate you even more. I think what it is, and you're gone, and that's it. You end your run. You can go wherever you want for how much you want.
I don't know if it's his camp or what, but the league at large is working overtime churning out these Marner rumors, because I have a guy who's given me very good information many times, and he's like, Vegas, it's going to happen. You watch. 2 days later, he's like, it's the Sharks.
Yeah, the three teams I keep hearing are the same ones LeBron pointed out. It's, and I think the Kings, no one's talking about the Kings. Ken Holland, man, he's fucking mad. Well, he's in the article now, but were the Kings being talked about before that? I was the only one saying Kings, guys. How about the
Adam
Kings?
has been on this for at least a month.
Sure, totally.
Yeah.
Holland's pissed, man. He's pissed. He's pissed. I need people to understand. And I think the LA Kings are pissed. I think that LA is a really attractive market. And by the way, they will pay him more than Vegas or Dallas would. I don't think Dallas is on the list anymore.
Yeah, the Kings have a little bit more salary cap space than the rest of the guys.
CJ said this morning on the CJ show that the Stars are not likely moving Robertson. If they were going to move Robertson, it would be to bring in Marner.
Yes.
And then you end up with, if you end up with two right wing guys.
You don't build your team through the right wing.
Well, why not?
What about Willie and Marner?
Why couldn't that work? Oh, there goes my watch.
Like that has been such an under talked about thing with the Leafs and the core, and you can't win with four guys making that. Well, maybe you could, but two of them are wingers. Yeah. I don't think that works.
It would have been fun if they had ever just let Willie try center for an extended period of time.
It is one of the most underrated mistakes of the entire Matthews era. Is you drafted this player at center, you began developing him at center, and you abandoned it.
Hey, so did Mitch. Mitch was drafted as a center.
Yeah, but I don't think he ever played a single game as a pro at center. Willie did.
Yeah.
Maybe try both.
You could have.
That's crazy,
You
right?
could have. They never did.
Mitch on defense. Should have been.
Yeah.
No, honestly.
Why not?
If you ran 3 forwards plus Mitch on D and then a stay-at-home defenseman, it makes kind of sense.
I don't remember who it was, but years ago, they're like, in another life, Mitch Marner is Quinn Hughes.
100%.
And I 1,000,000% believe he could have done it.
Yeah. No, I think Mitch Marner has Norris potential. If he had started that,
Not now.
No, if he was on the London Knights and they're like, you're going to be a defenseman, and then he got drafted to the Leafs and they just kept running that thing out, he's Quinn Hughes.
And you know what he would have said? Fuck off, I'm a forward.
Okay, cool.
You have to get a guy to buy into it.
Well, then you won't make as much money, Mitch. And he go, no. It's coming anyway.
Don't you worry.
Don't worry. It's coming anyway. Listen, it's been long and drawn out and exhausting, and I love that it's coming to an end, hopefully soon. And when that chapter is finally written, I don't think many people are going to be happy.
What are you going to do when you get the tweet?
Make a video.
Stand in the rain like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption and just bathe in its cleansing glory. That's what I'm going to do. And also make a video immediately.
No way they find each other in real life in Shawshank. No way.
No, it was back in the day. They would just be like, find this rock in a field.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
There's no phones. This guy doesn't have a map. You're just going to find this fucking rock.
That
tree?
bothers me about every old-timey film. You're so right.
You're just going to find him?
Hey, do you know this guy? He showed up a few years ago. He's building a boat, probably. And he came out of nowhere.
He's just kind of like on this island somewhere. Just came out of jail.
He's also his face has been on the news everywhere.
Yeah. No, you'll know him.
But you don't remember?
Yeah, no, you guys will run into each other and you'll be happy ever after.
I like that.
Also, I don't know Spanish. Wasn't it in Mexico?
Yeah, no, he learned Spanish in jail just for this.
¿Cómo estás, Sandy? No.
Awful ending. Awful. Shawshank has an awful ending.
It's a great ending.
For a great movie, awful plot hole ending.
Mm-hmm.
No, he was crafty.
No, it was
and he
ridiculous.
found him.
Okay.
We all done?
We're done.
All right.
We're done here. But we will be back Wednesday and Thursday. Hopefully more things to talk about. Steve, you better get home and get that Trevor Zegras trade video done.
Is that what I'm doing?
No, we'll just clip it out.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm just giving you shit. Hey, be on the lookout. We will be putting videos out there all week long as these signings and trades happen. And we love you. It's nice to be home.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.